What sparks the flame of romance for you? Are you into tall or short, light or dark, thin or thick, or is it the pulse of powerful conversation that gets it for you? What makes someone unforgettable? Stay tuned for this and more coming up next on Black Perspective.
This is an NBC 30 Public Affairs presentation. Black Perspective.
Welcome to Black Perspective. I'm Linnet Carty. What is in the magical moment when you first meet someone? Joining me to discuss black men and dating are Kedrick Robinson, Alexander Hall, Colin Smith, and Steve Higgins. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming. Well, Kedrick, I'm going to pose my first question to you. Give me your definition of what dating means. Now, we all know that dating means something different to certain people. Sometimes it means dating just one person or several people. It could mean an intimacy-free relationship or not. What does it mean to you, Kedrick?
I guess to me, dating is dating one person. I guess being originally from the South, that mindset, when you go home and you tell somebody you're dating someone, not different people. So to us, that would be the thing where you say you're dating or you're courting, things of that sort. That's what we call dating.
Going steady is what I used to call it. Going steady. Alexander, what is dating? What's your definition of dating?
I don't think I have a specific definition, but in general, if you've been on a date with someone, then you've dated them. If you've been on more than one date, you were dating. So across the board, I don't. In any kind of conversation, I told somebody I've seen in the last 5 years or so, well, I dated them, or I could say I've hung out with them, but to me they're interchangeable. It doesn't matter. You've been on a date, yeah.
Colin?
Dating is very subjective. Dating to me is dating more than one person, dating exclusively. So it's really subjective, and it depends on the individual.
And Steve?
I'm going to have to say there's two different definitions of dating for me, because in one way, if you're talking, well, then you're just talking and you're hanging out, and you obviously talk to multiple type of people. And the basis of your relationship, like Colin said, depends on that individual, whatever circumstance you discuss. But really, when my friends ask me, well, where are you going? I'll say, well, I'm going out to dinner. I'm not going to say I'm going out on a date until it's actually serious. So for me, once I say that we're actually dating, then it's very serious. It's a very one-on-one relationship where there shouldn't be anything going on outside.
Okay. Now, Alexander, what sparks that first attraction for you? What is it about a woman that catches your eye?
I really couldn't. There's so many different things. I mean, it could be, if I'm overhearing maybe a conversation in a restaurant, I hear just the way she articulates. I mean, she has a sense of humor. And there are times when I see just how somebody looks across the room. So it varies. I mean, I really can't pinpoint one thing, but definitely the way somebody speaks, how they interact with other people, and how they look, very important to me.
Okay, Colin?
I'm going to be honest. H&A, if you know what that means. But
No, what does that mean?
I won't go into that right now. But
please do.
Men, we're very physical.
Yeah.
We look at the physical first, and beyond that, it's definitely personality and about conversation. That's what does it for me.
For you. Yeah. Steve?
Well, when I was younger, I would have definitely have said H&A right off the bat. Boom. But it's kind of, when you get, as I got older and a little bit wiser, I realized that we have to coexist, as well as dating. And a lot more of the personality actually has come into play in my last few years of dating. So it's not always, you want that nice car when you go to buy it, but you got to check the inside of the engine to make sure it's okay.
Okay.
So that's what I'm
Very good. Very good. Kedrick?
Well, with me being, it's like the ACC always calls, attitude, then it's confidence, then it's conversation. So the attitude and the confidence will get me to you, but the conversation gonna keep me. That's the biggest thing.
That's true.
All right. Well, Colin, what sort of attributes do you look for in a woman? I mean, we did a show a couple of weeks ago, and it was about black women and dating. And you'd be surprised some of the things that the women said about attributes they look for, and some just looking for a husband and father material and things like that. What is it that you look for? What sort of attributes stand out for you?
Of course, I look for many things, but
aside from the physical.
Aside from the physical, of course, it's more than the physical. It's definitely about personality. Is she articulate? Is she smart? Definitely conversation. beyond the physical, you have to carry on conversation mostly. So for me, definitely conversation.
Steve?
Perseverance, understanding. You know, for the long term, you need somebody who's gonna be in there when it gets rough. You know what I mean? You get be right by your side.
Short term.
That's right. Let's go back to engineering. Yeah, but definitely perseverance and understanding.
Okay. Kedrick?
I think you're always looking for people that have those common goals. You're looking for people that can work with you. I guess when you're looking at the long term, somebody who can work with you. It's not always a person who's going to look the best as somebody who has your same mindset. It's the person when the both of you can work together. But at the end of the day, like my grandpa always said, you know, you got to eat every day.
Yes.
So
yes.
you know, for me, that's very important. Somebody
Yes, I think I like your grandpa.
somebody
With
can
food.
cook.
Alexander?
That's true.
I think I forgot which one I mentioned. The understanding. Somebody that understands me. I mean, sometimes I have a quirky personality. And I see things very differently. Someone can understand that. Someone who's adventurous, independent, sense of humor, freedom-loving, just open and very open-minded.
Okay, great. What has been one of the craziest things or funniest things you have ever said to a woman in the hopes of getting a date? Steve?
Wow. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I normally don't. I'm not a one-liner. You know what I mean? I'm not a one-liner. I'm not that type of dude. And I don't know if it's because of the success I've had when I tried one-liners, or if it's just not the type of woman that I'm trying to attract. But I will tell you a story, and I'll try to make it brief. When I was in high school in 9th grade, we were hanging out after a football practice, all the guys, and there was a beautiful young woman sitting in the stands, so everybody's like, oh, she looks good, and you know, like Boys in the Hood, I was like, well, that's my girlfriend over there. Like, no, it's not. So I go over there and I start walking around, I see everybody's following me, so I start running, I go over there and I sit next to her just like this, and I bring her close, I say, listen, for 5 minutes, just act like you're my girlfriend, please, you know.
Just act like you're my girlfriend, okay.
You know, this early high school, this is everything right here. So she acts like it. To make a long story short, we talk for a while, I walk her to the bus, I say, you know, everybody's on the bus for the last ones to get on. Before you go, could I have a kiss on the cheek? She goes to give me a kiss, I turn my face, and she kisses me on the lips. Everybody's going crazy on the bus. I take a bow, and I just...
That's a great story. That's good. Kedrick, how about you?
I guess I'll just say I'm not a one-liner. I think it's the overall conversation. For me, I think the biggest thing is just getting in there and getting the attention. Everybody.
So what do you do to get the attention?
Me.
Okay. Right, just be you.
Yeah,
okay.
just myself. So that's the biggest thing.
Alexander?
I mean, I don't know if it's just the panel you have here, but I'm pretty passive when it comes to that myself. One line, I'm not that kind of guy. I think I was in 3rd grade. You go back before Steve. I mean, the line I had was, I like you. And she ran away screaming. So ever since then, I had a bad experience. So ever since then, I played a more passive role. But if I'm engaged in a conversation as it goes on, I mean, I will try to sneak in, you know, something funny or quirky in there. So I think one time, I was out in a restaurant, and I think I was at the bar area having a good conversation. Then I said, what did I say? So we're going to get a pizza and have some sex? And she, of course, she looked at me like, you know, incredulously. I'm like, you don't like pizza? So something funny, keep the conversation.
Did you get the date?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's important. Colin? Colin?
I'm going to be honest. I have absolutely no game. No game whatsoever. It's just sincerity. I mean, would you like to go out to dinner, flowers, that type of stuff. I don't have any one-liners like the rest of these guys.
The rest of these
I definitely come with sincerity. A few jokes sometimes. Would you like to take me to dinner? You know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But
okay.
That was only a joke.
All right, all right. Now, speed dating. Let's talk a little bit about speed dating. And for those of you at home that might not know what speed dating is about, it normally happens in a club setting, and there are tables set up for 2. And it's about, what, 3 or 5 minutes? And you sit down and you ask that person whatever you might want to ask them. The bell goes off and you move to the next table. If you like the person, you exchange numbers. If not, you move to the next table. So have you ever, or would you ever speed date? Kedrick?
No and no. I actually had a couple of coworkers try to talk me into doing that. That's not something I would do ever. I think, to me, it's all about getting to know people. I'm a person that probably wouldn't go on a blind date. So unless I get to know the person, I'm not about to walk out and do anything with someone I don't know.
Okay.
So that's me.
Alexander?
I have tried it once. I mean,
Okay. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, I mean, initially, I was in the same mindset. I was like, I don't really want to get involved in this. But you know what? I'm the type of person, if I think I'm not comfortable with something, I'll just jump on and see what happens. So, I mean, it was fun. I mean, you get 3 minutes. There's very little pressure. I mean, you don't have to, if a person's in front of you, you don't find you don't find them attractive. You're sitting there, you know, a couple minutes, find a little bit about them, and the bell rings. No pressure, right? Nice to meet you, and you move on.
Okay.
So in the span of, you know, I don't know, a half hour, you get to meet, which I love meeting new people, so that's why I was attracted to it. I met about, you know, 15 different people, so even if nothing ever happened, I can see them places, hey, how you doing? I met you, you know, so it was fun. It was fun.
Okay, great. Colin?
I'm initially conservative, so I would have given the response that he would have given, but I've become a little bit more outgoing. So yeah, I would try speed dating.
You would try it?
I've never done it, but I would try it.
Steve?
Yeah, I would definitely try it once. I have not tried it yet, but similar to Alex, I love meeting people. I'll go to a bar by myself and end up leaving with 10, 15 friends, so I'm not afraid to start a conversation.
Yeah, start the conversation and go on to speed dating, to me, is two totally different things.
No, very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
I would think
Except
so.
you're I mean, it's structured, but it's the same concept. I mean, how you doing? How you doing?
There's no contract that says you have to go out on a date.
Right,
after.
that's
Yeah,
all.
you
don't
in a
sign
bar, you
that.
choose who you talk to. Where now you're going on a rotate.
That's
then-
true. That's true.
All right, very quickly, before we go to the break, how would you respond if a woman made the first move? Alexander?
I mean, I guess first moves come in a variety of different packages. I mean, I definitely thrive. I thrive. Yeah, on a woman, either maybe first eye contact, you know, from that. I love that. I don't mind the first move at all.
Okay,
No,
Colin?
not at all.
I would love it. I'm a little bit shy meeting people at first, so I would definitely enjoy it if someone approached me.
Steve?
Yeah, I can see how that can intimidate some guys, but for me, it wouldn't be a problem at all. I mean, you're right, but there's a genre of different first moves. I mean,
Right,
if he just came up and grabbed you up, and you know,
that'd
a
be a
couple
little
people
different.
clapping,
Like what
hey,
some of you
hey,
guys
hey.
can do.
Right, yeah.
And Kendrick?
Well, yeah, I guess I would welcome it. It never happened, but yeah, I would welcome it.
Okay.
Subtle first move. Subtle first
So,
move.
yeah, I think,
subtle
yeah,
first.
not somebody trying to.
Okay, great. So when we return, we'll discuss dating across the color line, marriage, and the L word. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Black Perspective. I'm Linnet Carty, and if you're just joining us, we're discussing black men and dating, and I'm here with these gorgeous gentlemen here, Kedrick, Alexander, Colin, and Steve. Thank you guys again for being here, and let's pick it up where we left off. Kedrick, how do you let a woman know that you are no longer interested in dating her?
I think first off, I try to let her know that I'm not interested
By saying it.
by saying it.
Okay.
But it depends on the length. It means the length of time that you've known the person. That's going to determine how you're going to react. I mean, if you
What if
just
it's,
met
yeah,
someone,
what if you just went on a couple of dates?
if I went on a couple of dates, I have no problem telling her, please don't call anymore.
Okay.
But the longer the relationship gets, it's just like anything else. It's harder to end once the relationship goes longer and longer and longer, because you have those stops in between. You might stop and then start back, and stop and start back. And so it becomes more of a, is it mutual? So it's once you get past the point of, is it mutual?
Alexander?
I think you made a good point about the length of time. I mean, I'm a very moderate type person, so even before I start dating somebody, I know a lot about them. It's almost like on a friendship level to begin with. So just keep it on an even keel, and then when we start hanging out or dating, whatever you want to call it, then it's just a matter of, I mean, if it's like anybody, like you said, the frequency. If they want to hang out, they want to do something, maybe not. But for me to say I don't want to ever see you again or anything like that, I don't think I've ever come to that point. It's like, I always want to see you. I like you. You're a good person. I like hanging out with you. But if you want to cut the intimacy down or things of that sort, yes,
Yeah, he said cut it off.
Okay, okay. I mean, if we're going to cut it down, if we're going to cut it off,
Okay.
if that's going to be kaput, so to speak, I don't know how I would say that. It's more or less,
You can't.
yeah, I
You
don't.
can't say cut down.
Yeah.
Either you go cut it, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. You
Right.
can take forever or you can rip it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Colin?
and I ease it off.
I have trouble hurting people's feelings. It's really difficult for me to do that. I think that you definitely need to take cues from each other. If the calling frequency starts to slow down, or I don't really want to go out tonight, you know, you kind of take your cues from the individual and kind of.
Sometimes you don't really feel like going out.
Yeah. Okay. Steve?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Alexander, where I take the Band-Aid off slowly and kind of let it fade away. I always want to be friends with the person thereafter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes.
Because somehow I'm emotionally attached, and I don't want that relationship to go
So
south.
being the truth, you can't be friends.
But
Tell
no,
the truth.
because you know what?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, definitely.
That's my next question.
But you're not.
Can you be friends after you break up with someone?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you can. I think you can.
Sometimes. It depends on how you.
Depends on how you broke up.
It depends on.
Yes.
Now, if I took it from you, Kedrick, and I was just like, it's not working out, and if it was just abrupt and there was possibly something behind that, I don't know if we would be friends again.
Okay.
And if that person's in close proximities with you, it might be.
You want to be civilized,
You
basically.
try to.
I guess it's, yeah, because I think that is civilized. I think if you call me and then I go, oh, well, not tonight, when I don't ever want to talk to you. not on that level. I mean, not on that
No,
level.
you're right. I
Not on
appreciate that. I
level.
mean, if
I don't want to talk to you on that level, then why am I prolonging you alone? Because the thing goes, you're preventing that person from meeting somebody that wants to be with them.
This is true.
Because
No, I agree
with a
you.
woman, she more times than not, she's
I don't want
concentrating
her to
on
be
you.
anybody else though.
Exactly.
That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke.
But you're preventing her from being somebody else when you keep going, well, not tonight, because she's going to wait till the next night, and it's going to take her a couple of weekends before she might go, okay, then what's the problem? So you're waiting for her to ask you what the problem is.
But things like Steve said, I don't want her out my life though. I mean, I don't.
still wanna
I mean,
be
You don't have to be out your life.
All right, well,
I'm
let me
friends
ask
with
you
a lot.
guys this. Alexander, would you date a woman who made significantly more or less money than you?
I have no problem with that.
No problem.
I mean, to me, that's the least of my worries.
Okay. Colin?
Yes, I would. Money isn't everything, but it is something. So.
Steve?
What does that mean though?
I mean, it's a factor. I mean, based
Meaning
on
you wouldn't
making
date
more money
somebody
or
that
less
didn't
money?
have a
Yeah.
job?
no, based on your lifestyle, whatever lifestyle you.
But more money or less money? Which one are you talking
Either one, based on your lifestyle. I mean, if you're a person who wants to drive Bentleys and have a mansion, then you're kind of leaning towards that a little bit. So I don't have a problem with it at all. But
Steve?
money is something.
Yeah, you know what? I would have no problem with that, but then again, it depends on some of the stereotypical characteristics that go with somebody who wants a lot of money, similar to what you were saying. So let's just say I was dating Beyonce. But if she acted in an intimate way with me separately from what her stage was, then I would be fine with it. However, if everything was always a persona to me, I wouldn't be able to keep that lifestyle because I need to be myself as well. So.
Kedrick?
I think, like he said, what they're all alluding to is attitude. It's their attitude toward the money, regardless if they make more or less.
Right,
If it's
yeah.
somebody who makes more, then you can't keep throwing it in my face. If it's somebody who makes less, then you can't keep spending mine.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
now
true.
here's the hard
That's a good
question.
one.
Would you date someone who is either divorced with children or has never been married but has children?
Yes.
Yes, you
I
would,
I
Colin?
have.
And you have? Okay, very good. Steve?
I have not, but I would not be opposed to.
Okay. Kedrick?
I have, but it depends on the situation. I mean, if you have kids, then how many kids are we talking? How many fathers are we talking? That creates, because that's the rest of
That's
what
the dynamic,
everybody would
yes.
call, bags.
that's the
your
drama,
bags,
right.
lady.
Right,
What do you have?
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't
Alexander?
think, same with me. I don't think the child is the issue. It's more like what surrounds, what kind of circumstances
What kind
surround
of
it. Yeah,
circumstances,
what comes
correct.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, what are some non-negotiables for you guys? Some absolute no's that you just can't go for in a relationship? No, I'm done. I'm out of here. Steve?
Disrespect. Absolutely not. Smoking? Absolutely not. Being negative all the time. I need somebody positive next to me all the time.
Okay.
Because I love life, I love to live it.
Yes,
and I
indeed.
want somebody with me who enjoys it just as much as I
Yeah. Kedrick?
I would have to piggyback off of all that,
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
believe in all that. I would think also a non-belief in God. If you don't have a belief in God, then you're not going to be able to date me.
That's my next question. If you're religious, would you date an atheist?
I wouldn't.
You
That's-
wouldn't?
No. I wouldn't.
You can
You know
answer
what I mean?
both questions at the same time.
go with both
The
of them.
religious
I'm about to-
question, yes, yeah. Answer both. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I would piggyback off. What was the question? Lost my train of thought here.
Well, you can go ahead and answer
Yeah,
the religious part
non-negotiables are dead.
and the
Oh, yeah, the
non-negotiables,
non-negotiables.
the no's, and that was one of them
Someone
for
that
him.
doesn't allow me to be me. I mean, if you're getting to know me, if you're in a relationship with me, and you know the kind of person I am, and all of a sudden you want me to change these things or act a different way, I'm like, okay, we don't need to be. We do not need to be together. So it's over for me. The religion question, I'm not particularly a religious person, so that I have no problem dating someone that is or isn't. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, whatever.
Colin?
As far as the religious question is concerned, I'm a spiritual person, so I would like someone that is also spiritual. Some things that I absolutely cannot tolerate. Smokers, I'm not really into smokers. And like what these gentlemen said about the respect, not being disrespectful.
Okay. Alexander, would you date someone outside of your race or someone who does not speak English?
Well, as far as race is concerned, I'm all about the human race. So
Me too. Me too. Nice.
In my mind, there's only one. I mean, it's a very socio-political term, and depending on what country you're from, depending on what society you grew up in, there's different versions of race, what race means. So all that out of the window, I like to get involved with people, And what was the second part of that?
Someone who did not speak English.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Either. No, not at all.
Kendrick?
It'll help me expand my language.
Yeah, as far as race, particular, but I would date outside of my race. I think I have before. Someone who doesn't speak English. Yeah, I'd date her. Yeah, if I
How
think she's
different?
attractive.
Because the girls said no. When I had the girls on, they said they would
if
date.
I
A
think
couple
she-
of them would date outside the race, but they all said no to someone who did not
But
speak
I agree with
English.
him. Originally, I would have said no because I thought that there were only two races. Where I'm from, there are only two
Right
races.
now, so you live down there.
Yeah,
you're
where
right.
I'm from, there's only two races. Either you're black or you're white. So the answer is no because you don't want the problems that go. But moving here to the Northeast, there's so many different races. So why wouldn't I date someone who's a minority? Why wouldn't I date a white woman if I'm attracted to her and she's attracted to me? That's part of being an adult.
All right, Colin?
I would never say never, but black women are my preference.
Yes, sir.
So black runs the gamut, and the spectrum of
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
because-
black is a very tricky word.
Because
Which is why I wouldn't date outside
Jamaican.
my race.
Yeah,
But
yes, that's right. Steve?
I had to say you have to rephrase the question because I think that in our community society, it is a little different if we were to date, let's say, a Latino girl, let's say one of those Cuban Jamaican girls
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Or
So black it's a very expansive term.
it is.
Yes,
But
it is.
I think that when you talk about interracial dating and you talk about white women, it carries a different it's
Stigma.
different stigma in our community. But in
More
any case,
extreme,
yes,
more
I could
extreme.
date
Right, I
either
can't
or.
take her home.
All right, I'm going to ask you a morality question, and we have very little time left. So, if you had the opportunity to cheat, you're in a relationship, and you had the opportunity to cheat, and you knew that you were not going to get caught, would you do it, Steve?
No.
Okay, Colin?
my conscience
No,
gets to me.
conscience will get to you.
Did you
Alexander?
repeat that question?
If you were in a relationship and you had the opportunity to cheat, and you knew you were not going to get caught, would you do it?
No, I'm not a fan of cheating.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right.
What's done in the dark comes in the light. There's always,
Yes.
there's always to get caught.
All right.
So,
All right, now,
Let's
ladies
hear it.
at home, I
Never
want you to
happened.
sit up for this question. Sit up closely to the TV. Turn up the volume. Are you wanting to be married at some point, to be committed, to be with just one
Because
person?
she's even saying it.
The girls at home want me to say it like that. To be together.
Right. Like
Our bond is one.
End all be all.
You know what? Absolutely. I look forward to having a family one day
Nice.
and being with my wife and children, But at the same time, no, I definitely do, but I definitely have to be with somebody who allows me to be me. And I can't stress that enough. That's why people ask a lot of commitment
Yes.
questions, like why do we have commitment phobia? And it's because sometimes when a woman comes into our life and it begins to become serious, the change is so dramatic that because of superficial things like the H&A, you might play for a little bit, but inevitably yourself comes to surface.
And so does that make you afraid to say the L word?
I don't know.
Yeah, it makes me. I have to be very sure. It makes
Very
me very
sure.
afraid to
Okay.
say the L word.
The love word. I love you. I love you.
I mean, don't use that.
tough,
So,
Colin?
Definitely.
You
I
wanna be married?
Definitely want to be married with children. Definitely what I aspire to.
And no problems expressing your emotions?
None at all.
Okay. Alexander.
For me, the jury's still out. I mean, I haven't made that decision necessarily. I mean, there have been times in my life where I thought about it. You know, I'm dating a person pretty seriously, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. Then, a month later, it's like, whoa, dodged a bullet. And the L word, real quick.
So you've come pretty close.
I would say, no, just thinking about it, even thinking about it. And the L word, I mean, it's tough to say the L word because you never know how somebody interprets love when you say I love you. Because some people it means, oh, if you love me, you're going to do this, this, and this. Or if you know, so that's tough.
So do you define a relationship when you're in it? Do you set those parameters by saying that I love you, but I'm not ready to get married?
No, I don't go that far, no.
I think my actions would say I'm not ready to get married.
Action, yeah.
So, Kedrick, how would you respond?
I think it's funny
you
he
want
said,
to be married?
It's funny he said jury, because I have a mother and 11 aunts, so that's like 12 angry men. I have these 12 angry women who are waiting on me. Can't understand, but I guess it's just like, it's waiting for the right person. A lot of people get drawn to this thing of the image of being married, and it's, do I find the right person to be married to? And as far as expressing my feelings, I think I'm very clear about how I feel about anything. So when it comes to that moment, if I say I love you, I will define. And it's not that I love you, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It's, you know, the type of love that it is, that's how I feel. And it's not going to change me as a person or how I act. It may change how I act towards you. It may different the things I would do for you. Because I love you, I won't look this way. Because I love you, I'll wake up at 3 in the morning, something is wrong. Because I love you, I'm worried about what happens to you. Not, I'm going to change who I am. This is all part of me. You get to see a different side.
But it's important that she recognizes that those things means love.
Exactly.
Not necessarily always saying,
I got to say it every day in 5 seconds.
Well, on the flip side, even those things, sincerely, I haven't been in love with a girl, but I still have done those things because I really like her. You know?
So you're still waiting for the one. Still waiting for the one.
I mean, things you actually, it's a slippery slope, let's say.
It's a slippery slope. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. At this time, let me thank Alexander Hall, Kedrick Robinson, Cullen Smith, and Steve Higgins. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Linnet Carty, and we'll see you on the next Black Perspective. You guys love this great.